Welcome back, folks. With me, Phil Turrell. You're watching the final part of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play. And it has been one heck of a doozy of a Let's Play, folks. But before we start, if you do like my Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really does help me out. But let's go ahead and get started. So we just got finished beating Gargantua, and now we're going to go and take on the Kotopaz. I can never pronounce that name right. Maybe Future Phil can add the name up there. But if I mispronounced it, but it's a giant reskin behemoth, and that is our next Guardian Ultimecia's castle we will take on. So really, I want to go ahead and move this party back to the front, because we're going to go ahead and get the Rosetta Stone in this soon, probably after we beat, I'll say like after we beat the Kotopaz. I want to say we will, but Kotopaz, you can only get to it if you get the key from the fountain. I forget what it's called. I think it's the treasure room key, I want to say. But I think I said in the last part, the only way you can see actually see the key is if you drain the water from the fountain in all of Ultimecia's castle. Which, I mean, really, if you know where it is, you don't really need to drain the water, but it does help. One thing about the Kotopaz is it hits like a truck when it does hit you. So best thing to do is to take it out as quickly as possible. But I'll wait a minute. So this elevator right here, this is what will send us to the room where the key for the waterway is. But anyways, this is the treasure room, and we'll talk more about that key later. But this puzzle, you have to open up all these chests, so you can open it up the way I did. But basically, whatever treasure chest you open, it'll open or close the adjacent ones next to it. So you got to open it in a way that all of them are all open, and the Kotopaz will show itself. Now, Kotopaz is weak against water and earth, and is going to absorb thunder damage. So you just want to be careful about that. So if you can equip thunder magic to your party's defenses, well, then you don't have to really worry about very much anything. And then if you can equip either water or earth to your party's elemental attack, then you'll be doing a crap ton of damage to it. It doesn't have very much defense, but you can also make it so much more weaker by hitting it with Doom Train or Meltdown. So that's always nice. What I'm doing here, I'm going ahead and just fixing some of my waters on my party, because I want to go ahead and get water on my elemental attacks. That way I can just junction it and not worry about it. And then thunder magic too, because I use some of my thunder spells against Krista and some of the other monsters here. But with that, we can go and start fighting the Kotopaz, aka Black and Red Behemoth. So it's not a super difficult boss at all in any sense of the word, but it is cool to look at. I really wish they would do some more reskins of behemoths that look like this. What am I going to do against Alexi? I'm only going to give you one turn, I think. I'm really only going to give this thing one turn. Maybe 2 turns tops. Now, one thing to note that about the Kotopaz is its most damaging attack is the Deadly Horn. That thing hurts like a mofo, but once you blind it, if you decide to give it some more turns than what I do, it's not going to hurt very much. When you beat the Kotopaz and kill it, it will cast Meteor, and that's when you know you have killed it, like I just did right there. I only gave it 1 turn. It didn't do very much. So just be very, 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 very careful with this. And then also, if you did not draw Alexander from Medea in the second fight, you can also draw Alexander from the Kotopaz. So it's dead. It's going to blow up, and we're going to get a new, not new, but we'll be able to unseal another ability. So not a super hard boss at all. One of the easier ones in my opinion. What I would have liked is, like, as you unlocked abilities, they got like more HP and, like, you know, more stats to kind of make the next one even harder. That would have been nice, but we didn't get that. And, you know, I don't think they really thought about that. They probably just thought that you know, having them at a level that your party has is probably enough. But anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead and go back. And so now we're going to go back to the entrance. And then from the entrance, don't change parties. We're going to go up here, go up and down, or go up and around, not up and down all around. So go up here. We're going to go down the staircase, You're going to go to the green circle. For you to change party members, all the party members have to be in this one green circle area. So I'm going to make a party of all guys and a party of all girls. Now the party of all girls has to go first. So if you want to do this old school, then go ahead and use Diablos as encounter none. But if you absolutely don't care about that, then you can do the Grandmaster's no encounter thing. But it's completely up to you how you want to do that. But I don't like to have encounters with my secondary party, because my secondary party, which is generally going to be Quista, Selfie, and Irving, I just don't really put any more effort into them more than I have to. Like I said, my main party in the game is always going to be Zell, Renoa, and Squall. So just make sure that you are aware that these enemies are going to show up in Ultimecia's castle. So we're going to go all the way back to where we fought the Gargantua. And then we're going to go that way. And then we're going to go to the elevator. Actually, not the elevator. We're going to go to the Katopaz's room. I don't know why I said that. So go here. We're going to switch party. That'll put the ladies right there. And then we can go ahead and go. The second party goes to where the Gargantua was. And then you're going to drop the elevator down, which will lift the elevator of the females up to the top. And then they can grab the key that's in there. Now, there's more than one way to do this. I just do it this way because to me, it just makes a little bit more sense. But there's different combinations of party members you can use that will make this work. And of course, if this party weighs less than the party that's already on the elevators will not lift. So just make it easier on yourself. Just all girls, all boys, and then you don't have to worry about it. Now switch your party members here. If you don't, then the party will get off and then the elevator will move. So go ahead and get the key right here. That draw point, I believe, is a Kiraga draw point. I believe. I could be wrong, but let's just find out. Let's go ahead and Renoa's draw, and we'll see here. Yeah, it's Kiraga, so we don't need it. By now, way before we even got here, we should have 100 Kiragas in every single party member. So let's go ahead and go down here. I'm going to switch to our party members, and leave. Now, one thing I will do here is I'll actually leave the castle. I think I'll leave the castle and come back in. That will allow me to get all the party members back to the very front, which I guess really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. What are you doing, Phil? Am I thinking that I have the... Yeah, I do. Okay, so now... Yeah, I do. I thought about it, so then why am I going this way? And I just remember I just got the key, so I need to cut the waterway. So go to this little red thing here and then activate it. Using the floodgate key. Examine it again. This will shut the floodgate and it will shut all the water off to the castle. So then you'll be able to get the Rosetta Stone. Of course, you had to open the floodgate area open with the organ. So if you did that, excuse me, if you did that, you're in good shape. So we're going to go and get the Rosetta Stone now. Now, you don't have to do this, but the Rosetta Stone is very valuable because ordinarily, I want to say only one of the Guardian Forces learns ability ×4 naturally. The other two, you'll have to get Rosetta Stones to teach them that. The easiest way to do this is just to get this Rosetta Stone and then get the one at Estar. And the only other Rosetta Stone you can get in the wild, so to speak, is to get it in the D District prison, playing cards with one of the prisoners, but that takes a while. I'm not a big fan of that way. But examine this box here, you'll get the Rosetta Stone. What I'll do later is in this part we will fight Omega Weapon. So you can go this way and you'll come into the prison cell where the Red Giant was. But what I'll do later is I believe I'm going to give the Rosetta, I'm going to give the Rosetta Stone to Carbuncle. I'm going to unlearn the ability ×3 on Carbuncle and give it to Carbuncle, which will give it the ability ×4, which means Zell will have it. Because right now Renoa has an ability ×4, Squall will have an ability ×4, and then now Zell will have an ability ×4. So they'll all have 4 abilities that they can equip. And this will be important because what you want is you want your characters to have, the 255 stat on their key stats, which in my case for Squall and Zell is 255 for their strength, and then for Renoa 255 for her magic. So yeah, and then really ability ×4 is just used to make those key stats, and then maybe your HP to their maximum, and then maybe two other openings for like auto protect, auto shield if you want to do that, auto haste, especially auto haste. But yeah, we're gonna go, and now we're gonna go take on Tiamat, I believe. Yeah, Tiamat. And Tiamat is a super easy boss. I mean, all of them are super easy bosses if you go come prepared, but if you're not prepared, they can really dish out the pain to you. So Tiamat is actually on the way to Ultimecia. So if you go this way, you're effectively going towards Ultimecia. And we're gonna fight Omega Weapon. We're not gonna fight Omega right now. Omega Weapon, not Omega. Omega is a different boss in Final Fantasy, not Final Fantasy VIII, but go ahead and go up here, and then you're gonna climb this clock tower, go all the way to the top. There'll be some enemy encounters that you'll have to fight as you go up if you leave the random encounters on. Not too difficult. I think some of them are like a Ronaldo, the boss that you fought in the training center, which I think this might be it right here, or maybe be some creeps. It might be creeps. We'll see. No, this is Ronaldo and Ronaldos, I think. I don't know. They're all in Aldos, so no, I have no idea. But you can go ahead and take them out. They're super easy at this point. They don't do very much damage because most of the time, enemies in Ultimecia's castle, they're just going to be super low level for whatever reason. But super easy. Just take them out. If you put Ronaldo to sleep, the giant insect-looking fly up above, put to sleep there. The ones on the ground are not going to do very much of anything. And this should take him out. Boop. Nope, it just wakes him up. But this should take him out. There we go. And then once we get up to the top, we'll see a dangling pendulum, and then that's what we're going to use to get to Tiamat. And then what you want to do with Tiamat is you want to make sure that your attacks from your characters are maxed out. So again, Squall, Zell 255, in my case Renoa 255 in Magic, and just lay the hurt on Tiamat, especially if you didn't break the game in half like I did. But also some creeps. Just be aware that it only has one attack, which makes it super easy. And then you're given, let's say, like 5 to 8 turns to beat it before it launches that attack. Actually, no, I don't think it's 8 turns. Probably around 5 or 6, I bet. But not too difficult. But we'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. Let's go ahead and get these rewards from these creeps. Okay, so we're gonna move Cactar. Oh, I know what I did. I moved Cactar over to Renoa. That way, I can get those bonuses on her. But just go ahead and move Magic to her. And for Squall, and put Cactar back. And Cactar, you'll see. We'll go ahead and give him. Please don't tell me you're not gonna give him more attacks or. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing that in particular, because we won't be able to fight Tiamat. I guess I just really don't care. I already know I already destroyed this game. I'm just going to get more stats, even though Tiamat is not going to give us any experience. So examine the bell or pendulum once it gets to your side, and you go across in here, and you'll see a dragon that looks like Bahamut, a very dark blue version of Bahamut. This is Tiamat. And not the Tiamat that's generally associated with Final Fantasy, like the multi-headed Hydra. But Tiamat is super simple. It does have a lot of HP, and it only has one attack, Dark Flare, which is kind of sort of similar to Bahamut's Mega Flare. It's Fire Elemental, which means if you can equip Fire, which you should be able to. I don't see why you couldn't, but if you equip Fire Elemental Magic to your Elemental Defense and you start absorbing fire damage, it can't kill you. You'll never get a game over. So if you're worried about getting hit by Dark Flare, just equip Fire Elemental Magic to your Elemental Defenses, and you'll be good to go. Now, in complete honesty, I didn't know that until I did a little bit more research on Tiamat to get an idea of like some extra stuff about it. But that's something I didn't know. And also, like I always beat Tiamat before I even cast Dark Flare. I think it only cast Dark Flare on me once, and it honestly really wasn't that bad. But a little bit of background on Tiamat in the world of Final Fantasy VIII. So according to, if you scan this Guardian Force, it'll say it used to be a Guardian Force, and then became a Guardian of Ultimecia because I guess she used her sorcery to take control of it. So it's kind of interesting that this used to be a Guardian Force. So I don't know. Something I like to think is maybe this is Bahamut in an alternate timeline, so to speak, because it looks just like Bahamut. And it says it used to be a Guardian Force and it was taken over by Ultimecia. So maybe under Ultimecia's power, Bahamut became known as Tiamat, and Mega Flare is a corrupted, Dark Flare is a corrupted version of Mega Flare. I don't know, it's just something food for thought. That's what I've always thought in my own headcanon. This is like the same Bahamut we got in our party now, but it's just corrupted by Ultimecia. So now that it has gotten hit by Doom Train, it now has very, very low spirit. It has very, very low defense. So you can lay the hurt on this dragon. And really, all you gotta do is just keep on attacking it with whatever magic you want. I'm just gonna use its flare magic to damage it. Squall is gonna physically attack it, and then Zell is of course gonna 1-2 punch it. So super easy boss, not difficult at all. Especially once you Doom Train it and you hit it with slow, so it's not gonna do anything at all. And this should be it right here. I think no, that's not it. So got a few more hits. Like I said, this dragon has a lot of HP. I think its highest level it has like 89,000 HP. So really, really lot of HP. But with that, we defeat Tiamat. We defeated the last Guardian of Ultimecia. And now we have all of our abilities. We can save where we want. We can resolve our abilities however we want. And there goes Corrupted Bahamut. And I guess I should have said this now. It has resistances against fire, thunder, and it's immune to wind. So something, I should have said that earlier, but you know, I didn't have that knowledge right in front of me at the time. So now what we'll do is we're actually going to go to where Ultimecia's area is, or where she's at, and then we're going to save, and we're going to actually do a little bit of side stuff to prepare for Omega Weapon. So we have all of the stuff from all the fights that we can use to better equip ourselves, or I guess in reality, better equip our Guardian Forces. So just get to Ultimecia's, and then right here you got a decision. Do you want to take on Ultimecia or do you want to take on Omega Weapon? And I don't remember if I said it in last week's episode, but Omega Weapon, they made Omega Weapon a lot easier in this part, and it's not even my opinion. I think honestly it's a fact. And the reason I say it's a fact is because in the PlayStation original version, the PlayStation version of Final Fantasy VIII, Omega Weapon was always at level 100, which is pretty damn intimidating because when you look at Omega's weapon stats, I mean at level 100 it has like 1,161,000 HP, which is a lot of HP for a boss. It's an insane amount of HP for a boss for Final Fantasy VIII. But we'll go ahead and save here. And then we're actually going to go back to the front of Ultimecia's castle. And we're going to go to the Ragnarok and we're going to grind a little bit for the preparation of Omega Weapon. And preparation? What do you mean, Phil? We're going to triple triad a while. And we're also going to get some of the missing cards just to show where they are. Because I still have not gotten Irvin's card, Kyros' card, Doom Train's card, Phoenix's card, and the Fat Chocobo card. So those we're going to get. So those are going to be on the S-Star continent. So let's go ahead and get those. And if you remember where Piet's pod was, that's where you're going to go. Because that is where the Queen of Cards is. So I'm going to get a little bit lost here. You might see me just stay still for a little bit and I'm just trying to remember where it's at, or I'm looking up the location. But it's a very specific spot on this peninsula. I'm over here thinking it's to the north, but it's actually towards the southern tip. And what makes the Queen of Cards very difficult is, I think she plays with the Lunar Bases rules. She might be playing with a few less, but she does play with annoying rules such as the plus roll, and I hate the plus roll with a passion. I feel like it's a way to give. I mean, if you're very good at adding up numbers and all that, and doing 500 IQ plays, I feel then your plus roll is very good. But always save before you fight the Queen of Cards, because you don't want to like make some progress and lose a card, and then you got to win your card back, and then on the top of her using all of her cards, because she could in theory play all 5 cards if she wanted to in her open hand like we do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show myself beating her the first time, and I lost a lot, believe me. I'm going to show myself beating her the first time, and then from there I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show me getting all 5 back to back to back to back to back. Or I should say the other 4. And she can absolutely play I've seen her play up to 3 cards. So I'm willing to bet she could play 5 of those cards if she wanted to. It's not, I was going to make a pun there. It's totally in the cards for her to do that. So Fat Chocobo right there. Fat Chocobo is actually a really good card if you decide to rely on Guardian Forces. Because if you card mod a Fat Chocobo, you'll get 100 Love G's, which those will increase the compatibility with all Guardian Forces by 20. So if you get 100 of those, you can up the compatibility with one character for all the Guardian Forces, which is very nice if you decide to use Guardian Forces like Doom Train a lot, which honestly I should have done that to make Doom Train a lot more usable, especially in the Omega weapon fight. So now we're going to go into that side of the Ragnarok, and we are going to do our darndest to not lose our damn mind. So what I've done in the past is when I'm talking about the past, I'm talking about card modding some of our super rare cards in order to get some valuable items like the Pandemona card, the Quetzalcoatl card, Minotaur, and I mean I could have card modded Sacred. I'm surprised I didn't, but a lot of all those, if you do not do the CC card group quests, then they're lost forever. You'll never get them back. But if you complete the CC card group quests, you can play these twins right there, or you can play really anybody here. But the twins tend to use all the cards that you card modded. I guess because it's time compression, they can somehow get the cards from outside time or in this time compressed world. I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and show myself playing against the twins and winning my cards back. And then what I'm also going to do off screen, I'm going to card mod. And this right here is interesting. If you talk to a lot of the CC card group members, they'll voice their opinions on time compression, which is interesting. So what I'll also do is I really hate this, but what I'm going to do is when you play them, they take a minute. I don't know why they take a minute, but what I'll also try to do is I'll try to reset some of the rules, and I haven't done that before. But you can start the game and then play, and then you can drop out, and then you can sometimes get them to abolish a rule. Which this is what's going to happen with the twins. I'm going to win, or I think I'm going to win, or I'm going to draw. Now, if we draw, we go to sudden death, but sometimes they'll abolish a rule, which is very nice, especially when the rule is the plus rule. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, that's a godsend. I love that. And I will say this, the Tom Bear King, absolutely in Final Fantasy 16, it's absolutely a terror to behold. And you can see here, I'm probably going to lose, which is fine, because I'm actually going to reset a rule here. So I'll lose my selfie card, which is fine. And they won't use the plus roll anymore. So that's like, okay, that's awesome. I don't have to worry about that no more. So the game's going to be in my favor. We're just going to play with random, and elements, so don't even have to worry about it. So they'll play Selfie, and they might play Quetzalcoatl or Pandemona. It doesn't matter. When they don't have the plus roll, I'm absolutely confident I can win. And I don't know if it says, but I will card mod Bahamut. That way I can get 100 Mega Elixirs, and I will go back and play and get Bahamut off screen as well. So I don't think I recorded myself doing that, which I should have. But as here, the game becomes super easy. It goes back to being games from like disc 1 and 2 easy. So just do that, and I'm going to show myself getting Selfie's card. I'm going to show myself getting Quetzalcoatl, Pandemona. So we got all of our cards back. So if you look at our cards, we have all level 10s, 9s, and 8s. And now there's one last rare card in the world that I'm going to get. It involves a UFO, and we'll get that in this part. But we can card mod any of these cards, and we can really just get it back. So this is what I mean by absolutely breaking the game at this point, to make it super easy. And if you already know what I'm talking about, you could card mod Gilgamesh, get 10 Holy Wars, play the twins, get another 10 Holy Wars after you get it, and then you just rinse and repeat. And the reason I got so many Holy Wars in this playthrough again is because I was going into the mindset. I was playing with the mindset of Omega Weapon's going to be at level 100, the battle's going to go on a while, and this is going to be a cluster. So I got like 60 Holy Wars, and then that was more than enough. I only needed one Holy War actually, because Omega Weapon was not at level 100. It was probably like level 50 or 60, I bet. Maybe level 70, because Squall's like at level 80, and the others are hovering like around 40 and 50, I think. Club is silent. Okay, anyways. We're going to go ahead and go upstairs. I'm going to check the junk shop. I don't know why. All my party members all have their strongest weapons. So we're going to go up. I don't know why we're going this way. Oh, I think I know why. Because I'm going to show you that Laguna's not there. That's okay. So we're going to go upstairs. And what we're going to do is we are going to do finish off the UFO side quest, which you can do this in disc 4. It's not going to hurt you. So we're going to take off, and we're going to fly to the forest to the north of Estar, and I'm going to lose my bearings for a little bit and forget where on the forest we have to go to find the UFO. And again, you want to make sure that you get all the items you want from that UFO, and what I mean by items is using Angelo search, because once you do this, it's going to be kind of hard to find an enemy that won't hurt you very much, and you can just leave your PS4, 5, or your PC on for hours at a time to try to find the UFO, or to just grind out Angelo's search. Now, one good thing about this, and I'm glad it happened, is we get to see Gilgamesh get summoned, because Gilgamesh does not get summoned at the beginning of the fight. It gets summoned during the fight, which is annoying, which makes it a lot less valuable than Odin, in my opinion. But yeah, Gilgamesh I feel like Gilgamesh is such a downgrade from Odin. I think if Gilgamesh was summoned at the beginning, it would be so much more better. But Gilgamesh doesn't do that. Gilgamesh does whatever Gilgamesh wants to do. So we're gonna find the UFO. It should be somewhere right here. Yeah. And I have encountered none on, so it's just gonna generate the fight. So I'm going to wait a little bit, and then we're going to see some interesting stuff. Now, interestingly, if you have low HP, and I did do this here, I'm guilty of it, you could, I forget which thumbstick it was, I don't know if it was left or right, it's the one that isn't the speed up, but this is Gilgamesh. He'll use Excalibur, which is it only does 1 damage, Excalibur, which does medium amount of holy damage, Xantuscan, which is Odin's sword, and then I forget. Let me double check real quick. Let me check the Final Fantasy VIII Wikia, or Final Fantasy Wikia real quick. Let's see here. What does it use? And of course, once you beat the Masamune is what he uses. But once you beat the UFO, it'll go all the way to the back, and then you'll be able to finish the side quest. But yeah, Gilgamesh. it'll appear during the battle once the game does its normal checks for stuff to happen when nothing really does happen. No one takes turns or anything. There's a check the game does in the background. But he can use Entuscan, which defeats all the enemies, which we're familiar with that. Masamune, the Excalibur, which deals heavy damage. And then the red sword, which is Excalibur, which just deals 1 point of damage to all opponents. Which is very sad. But anyways, you go back to the guard's site and you run around it, you'll encounter this little guy here. This is a poo-poo, and I'm not joking about that. Its name is Piu. So I think it's Pew, maybe? I don't know. But it's going to ask for elixirs, which honestly, I think this is the only friendly enemy. Actually, no, I'll take that back. That's not what I was going for. I think this is the beginning of the friendly monsters that in Final Fantasy that kind of got started in Final Fantasy, but it continued in Final Fantasy IX, which that's a very awesome side quest in Final Fantasy IX. But it's going to ask you for elixirs. You give it 5, it will give you its card, and you could kill it if you wanted to, but if you want to do that, you're going to be a complete monster, and I don't recommend doing it because poo-poos are just adorable. Anyways, I digress. But if you do decide to take it out, I believe you'll get an accelerator, or a jet engine. I'm not sure. It'll give you an accelerator, so it'll do a little bit of a dance here, and it'll thank you, and then it will give you its card. I think it will give you quite a bit of AP as well, right? Hey, we got a trophy for finishing the quest. No, we didn't get no AP. But we get the poo-poo card, which it's a very weak, rare card. It only has 1, 2, 3, 4, and an A, so it's only strong on the right side, and it's just such a cute monster. Anyways, now if you decide to, I think it gives you something if you decide to gobble it up. I don't think you get anything if you gobble it up, but right here I'm just showing me getting the Gilgamesh because we're going to need to get ready for Omega Weapon. Now, I apologize for the darker screen right here. It wasn't my intention. I forgot to adjust the setting on my screen because I'm recording Omega Weapon well after I've played and beaten this game. So it's probably like, honestly, this is probably like almost like 4 months after I've beaten the game, maybe a little bit longer. Possibly, no, I wouldn't say like at least 6 months. It's almost half a year after the fact. But what you want to do with Omega Weapon, you want to get some preparation done before you even attempt to do Omega Weapon, because one of the attacks it will always do at the very beginning of the fight, other than a physical attack possibly, is it can cast level 5 death. So if any of your characters are at level 5, you need to equip 100 death spells to their status defense. Now, to initiate the fight with Omega Weapon, you need to go this way, go downstairs, activate the bell right here. This will summon Omega Weapon, and really you want to do all your prep work before this. And then once you get all your prep work done, you go into the chapel, you'll see Omega Weapon, you run into its shadow, and you'll start the fight. Now, Omega Weapon will absorb all elements that are in the game, so you can't use normal magic to beat it, which is going to suck. Now, the horrible thing about Omega Weapon is it will throw a lot of damage and attacks on there. The only ones that you're probably going to survive on the regular is Meteor and Gravaja, maybe Ultima, but the rest of the attacks are going to generally kill you right away if you don't have max HP ready or you don't have some kind of defenses ready. Now, the thing about Omega Weapon is he'll start off with level 5 Death, then he'll use Meteor, then he'll use Meji Do Flame, then he'll use Gravaja, then he'll use Terror Break, and then Ultima, and then Light Pillar, and then he'll go back to Meteor and he'll repeat that cycle, that chain of attacks. Now, in between those chains of attacks, he can attack you regularly, which does suck if you're at low HP, but that's also a good thing if you're at low HP. Now, if you memorize those attacks and you have defend to defend against Terror Break, which is the one attack I fear the most when I fight Omega Weapon. Everything else I don't fear because I can defend it, or I can summon a Guardian Force to take the attack for me. But Terror Break is one thing that you will not survive if you're not prepared for it. So what I do is I'll summon Cerberus, and really I could have just gotten away with casting triple on Renoa, and then that would have been it. But I just like to have triple on all my party members in case things go south. But honestly, if you Holy War it, you're not gonna go south. It's just gonna be easy. So I like to use counter rockets from Cerberus to give all my party members double and triple, really just triple. This will allow me to cast magic such as Full Life or Kiraga if I need it. But really, if he's doing all this damage to my entire party, like Megiddo Flame, which this is a special version of Megiddo Flame, it will deal 9,998 damage, which means if you're not at the highest possible HP you can get, you'll die just like Renoa. Now, Megiddo Flame, once he uses it, the next fixed attack he'll use is Gravagen. Now he could use a physical attack, which is what he's going to do here to Renoa here in a little bit, but this is going to be to his detriment because Squall is at 1 HP. Gravagen is going to lower Zell to 75 to 25% of his HP. So which means Gravagen will never kill. It's a percentage based attack. It will only drop you to a percent of your HP that you're at. So Squall will take no damage. Zell will take like 7,000 plus damage. Renoa will lose like 400. Both Aura in place. It's just gonna doom Omega Weapon. This is my preferred way of doing it. I've attempted to do it the legitimate way. I'm not a fan of it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you're one of those people that have to do it without a soft cheat way, you know, go for it. Mine just takes a little bit of preparation to get it going. So Zell's now in Limit Break. Well, he's well been in Limit Break mode, but now Squall's at 1 HP, which means his crisis level is as high as it could possibly be. So we got a good chance of getting 8 hits for his Limit Break. And this is what I'm going to do here. Squall's going to Limit Break. Zell's going to Limit Break. Renoa's going to cast Meteor. And eventually I'm going to remember that Doom Train was not summoned. He was sacrificed on the altar of Megiddo Flame. But once we use Meltdown, the damage is just going to start piling up. And Zell is just going to keep punching and kneeing the crap out of Omega Weapon's bottom half. I don't even know what that is supposed to be on the bottom, but it has a mouth and we're going to just beat the crap out of it. Now, an interesting thing I didn't know is if you use potions on Omega, it prevents it from attacking, and it's possible to keep the cursor on memory, put an item command on top of the character's command list, and use a potion on Omega Weapon every turn while the others attack. I didn't know that. That's me reading it verbatim from the Final Fantasy Wikia on Omega Weapon. Now, if you want to do this the legitimate way, he's eventually going to use Terror Break. Now, Terror Break is physical attacks, and they do a lot of damage. And he does it 16 times, so you could basically use Protect to half the damage. I've read that Zombie also does the same kind of thing as Protect, but you're a zombie, basically. Or you can use the Defend command from, I believe, the Brothers, and I can't think of the other Guardian Force. But another Guardian Force will use have Defend that you can learn. Those two people can use it and then defend, and they will not take any damage at all. The only other way to survive it reliably is just to use a Holy War, and that's an interesting angle to see the Omega Weapon in. But you know, just use Holy War, use heroes to survive, and then you can. The next attack that he will use is unfortunately Ultima, and after that it's Light Pillar. So this here is Terror Break. It's the unique attack to Omega Weapon, and I like the way it looks, but man, it's such a pain. I would never ever want to have to deal with this attack. So there it's just doing 0 0 0 0 0 0. And yeah, it's an attack that sucks. That's the scariest attack. Now, since basically we've talked about Omega Weapon, let me let me just talk a little bit about random stuff, because honestly, we're gonna be watching Zell, and we're really gonna be watching Zell just punch rush Booyah a lot. But I want to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 8 for a minute. Final Fantasy 16, after beating it, and I really do enjoy the ending, and I really do like the open-endedness of that ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I mean, the game's been out for a year, but I still feel like some people haven't played it and beaten it yet. But that ending is so open-ended, I love it. I love it to death. And then, man, just the story, and the story of Clive and Jill and Joshua, and then just, I'm not a big fan of Ultima as a villain, but I did enjoy Ultima in a sense. And I gotta say, after the music, the story, the combat, I didn't think I was gonna like Devil May Cry type combat in a Final Fantasy game, but after playing it and thinking about it, stewing on it a little bit in the ending, I think it's my favorite Final Fantasy game ever. I'll say that, and I'll put that on the internet. Final Fantasy gets pushed down to number 2, which pushes Final Fantasy VI down to number 3. But very good game. I wholeheartedly say, if anybody wants to play Final Fantasy 16 and you're willing to give the combat and the lack of controlling the party members a try, give it a try. You won't be disappointed, I don't think. But some people may not like it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. The music's top notch. If you saw my my semi reacts to Leviathan, I forget his name, but his last name, I guess, is Soken. He can give Nobuo Uematsu a run for his money. I love Nobuo Uematsu to death. He's like the OG. He's my OG favorite composer in video game music, but that dude can give Nobuo Uematsu a run for his money. He's not better than Nobuo Uematsu, but man, he can give him a run for his money. But we just casted Meltdown on Omega Weapon, and now we're going to start doing a lot more damage to it. Squall's going to almost be doing 9,000 per hit. When Squall uses Lionheart, that's when the battle's over. So, once you see Lionheart, it's over for Omega Weapon. But, man, it's just such a good game, Final Fantasy 16. Now, I want to wait a little bit longer. I might just wait to say it in the ending. But I also want to talk a little about R equals U. Keep on talking about. I'm going to talk about, but I'm waiting till the ending's over. But I can't do that theory justice. It's a lot of confusing time travel shenanigans. But I just like the theory in general. Fan theories are always my favorite, which is why I like Final Fantasy 16's ending so much, because there's a lot of fan theories out there. If you go and you ask, is it true? I don't know. I don't want to say that either. Just say what happened in the end of Final Fantasy 16. You'll probably find a Reddit thread with like a lot of people giving their hot takes on it. But it's such a very good ending. I don't know what else to talk about for Final Fantasy 16. I just wish I'm glad Omega Weapon does not have the HP it does in the PlayStation version. But I guess Final Fantasy 16 is just everything about it. It was just fresh and new, I guess, to me. Final Fantasy VIII, nostalgia, because this is my first Final Fantasy game and I just enjoyed it. The characters, the music, the combat, introduction to turn-based combat. This is literally my first RPG. For better or for worse, people say, "Oh my God, you missed the best one, Final Fantasy VII, by like just a year." But Final Fantasy VII is great, but it's not in my top 5. Unfortunately, some people probably hate me for that, but that's okay. We're all entitled to our opinions, right? And Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI is probably my 3rd favorite game, because it was originally my 2nd favorite game, but 16 dethroned 8 for 1, and so now it's 2, and now Final Fantasy VI is now 3. But Final Fantasy VI, I just love it because the sheer amount of characters are in there, the story, Kefka just being a complete nihilist. I mean, who doesn't like a crazy psychotic clown as the ultimate villain? The Esper system, the ability to customize your character's stats with Espers, and just having everybody just become just super overpowered from Espers. It's not a hard game by any means, but it's just a good game. And then just the level of like mods for like the PC version, that if I do play, I'm gonna play the quote-unquote cursed version that people don't like, but I do like, is the Brave Steel mod. And yeah, Final Fantasy VI is just my third favorite, and then I would say after that, Final Fantasy X, and then Final Fantasy V after that. Final Fantasy X, that was my, well, I mean, there's not really many PS2 Final Fantasy games, but it's to me, it was like the last great hoorah of Final Fantasy before Final Fantasy 16 for me. And then Final Fantasy 5, I just love the story and the job system a lot. The music for Final Fantasy 5 is some of the best mods he put out as well. But with that, we beat Omega Weapon, and enough of me reminiscing about my favorite Final Fantasies. If I ever decide to talk more about it, maybe I might make a dedicated video towards that. But we'll see. We will see. But we'll get not so great rewards for beating Omega Weapon. Probably the good thing about Omega Weapon is you could draw Ultimas from Omega Weapon, but I mean, really, at this point, it's really not worth it in my opinion anymore. You already got your 3 characters that have probably 100 Ultimas and all that, but you get the proof of Omega Weapon that says that you defeat an Omega Weapon in Ultimecia's Castle, one of the strongest fighters in the whole wide world. But now I went ahead and just equipped my 3 main characters, Squall, Renoa, and Zell, with all their stuff. And you just want to make sure that all their stats are high as possible. And then now we're going to take on the big bad Ultimecia. And Ultimecia is, honestly, she can be a very, she could be a difficult boss if you're not, final boss if you're not, you know, watching yourself. And she has quite the look to her. She's definitely not afraid to show what she's packing, if you catch my meaning. But as you see here, she has a wing motif and all that, just like all sorceresses seem to have to. She speaks her C's with a K sound, and it's very interesting. And if you notice, the type of wings she has is kind of like a feathery black angel wing type feather that, you know, you associate with Sephiroth and evil and all that stuff. It's just interesting. And she explains her whole plot right there, time compression and everything. But she's going to pick 3 random people to start the fight with, and Murphy's Law is going to rear its ugly head because she is going to pick Irving, Selphie, and Queesis. And this is where I got my game over with it. I just spammed had Feature Fills spam the game over theme for it. But yeah, not very good. And then she's going to use Maelstrom and just screw everyone over. What I was hoping was, if I take out Selphie, and she maybe uses a magic, targets one of my characters, Selphie will get traded for one of my other characters. And there's the game over. So yeah, that was a legitimate game over. So let's go ahead and run that back again. So ultimately, she'll pick 3 random people. In theory, she'll probably pick one of the characters that you pick, and then you would slowly kill off the other 2 until you get the other ones that you want. And you heard me right, you're going to kill off the other 2. Ultimecia will remove them from the battle, and you'll get another of your characters back. And because Murphy's Law hates me so much, it gives me everyone but Squall. I get Renoa and I do get Zell, but I don't get Squall. And I'm going to take out Queesis, I'm going to take out Selphie, and I'm going to take out Irving before I get Squall, which is kind of not fun. But Ultimecia, as a boss, she really doesn't have very many dangerous attacks. She does have Bio, Bazaga, Dispel, Double Holy, Maelstrom, which is probably the more dangerous attack. Meltdown, Quake, Stop, Thundaga, and Tornado. Out of all those, the ones that scare me the most are Maelstrom, Stop, and Tornado. But Tornado can be prevented with equipment Wind Magic. Maelstrom will effectively cut your HP in half for your party. I think it's just a slightly weaker version of Gravaja, but it casts Curse on your party as well. And then Stop, if you don't have Stop equipped on your Stash Defense Junction, then you will not be able to take any turns with your character. So go ahead and remove Selfie from the party, and then we will get Irving, and then we'll go ahead and sacrifice Irving to the time stream, and then we'll get Squall, and then we can begin the battle for real. So Zell 1-2, he just punched the crap out of Zell Irving. I'm sure he enjoyed that because all the shenanigans Irving does throughout the game. But there's Maelstrom. Let's see, that did a little bit over half, I think. But we'll go ahead and heal that damage away with Recover. We'll wait for Ultimecia to take Irving out of the battle and put our best fighter in the battle. Go ahead and cast a double on Renoa. Now we can start the fight at plenty. Or, for real, not at plenty. I don't know why I said that. Ultimecia is weak against Poison. She is immune against Holy, which is interesting. And at this point, Ultimecia is really just another version of Idea at this point, I feel. Because she casts Maelstrom, has all this other single targeted magic, except for Tornado. Tornado and Maelstrom are the exceptions. But not very difficult. And you really just want to make sure you're absolutely ready for the next boss. Because after Ultimecia, that's when the stuff really starts to crank up in difficulty. As with most JRPGs, there's multi-phases to the final fight and Latin lyrics involved. Oh, Noble Monster, I love how you integrated Latin and lyrics. Probably not Latin in Final Fantasy VIII. Probably a lot of vocals, but not, or chanting, but not Latin. But Ultimecia, once you do enough damage, she will do something very interesting, and the boss will be summoned to replace her, and it's actually going to be named after something in the earlier in the game that you named something. It's getting a little bit late, and it's been like almost an hour of talking constantly. Gotta take those breaks in between, I guess. But yeah, Ultimecia, hurry up and die. Like, just hurry up and die, or just like let the plot continue, the plot battle continue. Thundaga, yeah, not gonna do a lot of damage. And I didn't do any damage for no, just absorb that. But yeah, you could, now if you absolutely wanted to cheese this fight, just like Omega Weapon, you can use Holy Wars and then start casting Aura, or use Aura, use Holy War, and then just have fun with your limit breaks. But Ultimecia is going to summon a Guardian Force, which is going to be named after the lion ring that Renoa took from Squall. So if you named it Griever, it's going to be Griever. If you named it Stupid, like I did the first playthrough, I beat the game, then Griever is going to be called Stupid. So it's very interesting. Because I actually thought the concept of naming a ring was stupid, but I didn't realize it had implications later. Now Griever is weak against ice. It's weak against wind and holy. It is exorbitant poison. Now, interesting enough, holy does 250% more damage, whereas ice does 150, wind does 200. If you use Renzo Kuken against Griever, it'll always do 5 hits. So, very nice to know. It doesn't do a lot of hits, but it is a guaranteed 5 hits. So it kind of beats getting stuck with 4 hits. Of course, I'm spamming my Mega Elixirs because it's the final battle And why not use your items? And items do you no good after you beat the game, unless you're a kleptomaniac like me. But went ahead and took advantage of that maelstrom, and then just getting those hits in. Now you want to make sure your party is completely healed, and you have either a high spirit or you have shell on your party members, because Griever will use a very strong spell. And what's very interesting, I'll go ahead and talk now a little bit more, alluding to R equals U. It's very interesting that Ultimecia summons something that's very close to Squall. I find that very interesting. Now there's other ways that you could explain this. Ultimecia probably looked in Squall's mind during the battle, as Final Fantasy Wikia says, it's the strongest, in Squall's view, it's the most powerful guardian force in the world is Squall's mind. So, you know, Renault just reached out to Squall's mind and just pulled out what he envisioned was the strongest being or strongest guardian force. So that's one way to explain it. I don't like that way. It's very boring. I like the explanation of Ultimecia somehow knowing about Griever beforehand and making this guardian force. But now, how does she know about Griever? It's not like, I guess you could say she looked into the past and stuff like that, but that's a little bit boring. I like to think she knew about Griever beforehand, almost like she was introduced to Griever or knew about Griever. But that's very interesting to me. It's very interesting. It's also one of the linchpins to R equals U. Now, once this starts shaking, you're getting really close to beating the first phase of Griever's fight. And you want to make sure you're completely healed, because once this music starts playing, he's going to use Shockwave Pulsar. Shockwave Pulsar is not a very fun attack to get hit with. And this music right here is, I'm trying to remember, the Legendary Beast. And the Legendary Beast is one of my favorite pieces in Final Fantasy. It's a shame that after we beat Griever, it stops and we get another battle music. But all the battle music in Final Fantasy VIII in the final battle is phenomenal. From Premonition to the Legendary Beast to, I forget the next battle theme. I can't think what it is. It's on tip of my tongue. Maybe I'm a lion. I think that's what it is. But at that point, that's probably the most dangerous part of Griever's fight, is when he uses Shockwave Pulsar. But just keep laying in the attacks and then you'll be good. Now Griever can absorb magic from you. He can draw magic and cast your magic right back at you, very much like we were doing to other enemies. You can also blow away your magic, which means it will get rid of all your magic in your magic pool. So he used that on Renoa, and Confuse was blown away, which means he got rid of all of Renoa's confused magic. So if he ends up hitting a magic, which I don't know if he can hit magic that's equipped to your stats. I want to say he can. But if he does, your stats are going to start to plummet. So you want to beat Griever before he can do that. Now, if he does knock out some of your party members, if you don't revive it fast enough, they can also be absorbed into time. So you want to make sure you revive your party members if they do get KO'd or killed, whatever you want to say. So you want to take out Griever as soon as possible. We just took him out, and we're going to introduce you to another great song in Final Fantasy VIII. Maybe I'm on the line. I believe that's what it's called. So Griever will get turned back into a black mass, and we're going to have to fight him and Ultimecia combined together. As she says, she will junction herself onto Griever. So we're going to get a very interesting amalgamation of Ultimecia and Griever. And I really do like this look a lot. at first it like unnerved me as a kid. I'm like, holy crap, this lady made herself into like a chimera of sorts, because now she's part lion, and of course she's human or sorceress, whatever you want to call her. But this form, Ultimecia's Griever form, she can create helixes. She can destroy a guardian force, which what I mean by that is if you use a guardian force, she can just get rid of the guardian force. It's not very fun. She can cause dispel. She can use Great Attractor, which is what she will use when you have two helixes. You don't want to leave two helixes on the battlefield because it'll inflict heavy non-elemental damage to your party. She'll cast Holy, she'll cast Meteor, Quake, Tornado, and finally Ultima. So just be very, very careful about that. And then Squall, as you saw there, Squall can use Renzo Kukin. It'll always hit 8 times, which is very good. That's a very high amount of Renzo Kukins. I went ahead and used Aura on Squall because I just want to get access to those Renzo Kukins. But those are helixes. Don't allow her to get 2 of them on the field. And Renault is of course going to use Ultima, and she's going to explode. She's going to explode Ultimecia and explode the helix. So I'm going to double cast that, and that's about 10,000 damage right there plus. Ah, green fire. That should take care. No, it didn't take care of the helix. That's very unfortunate. But he hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we get a pretty cool ending where he just like slices right through Ultimecia and flies right behind her, and somehow not fall off into the doom right below. He lands right back on the ledge. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna use Ultima on me? I'm gonna use Ultima on you." So right here, be very careful. Ultima is a very strong spell. As you see there, Zell took 3,000 damage to that for that. And then Renault's like, "All right, you're gonna do that. I'm gonna use freaking Meteor on you." If you can use Meltdown on her, I would suggest using Meltdown on her. Get those defenses lowered, her spirit down lowered. Makes the fight a whole lot easier. Now, she will shed the half of her form, and she'll get a little bit quicker. I don't really know if that really does anything in particular, but she will cast off half of her form, and I don't think that really does anything other than she'll be able to cast Quake and Tornado, so that's also a thing. So she casts off her bottom half, she'll use Quake and Tornado. So just keep laying on the damage. In my case, I'm just going to go ahead and use Renzo Kukin, do as much damage, get Showy ending, and no, not dead yet. But I think in this form she won't be able to use those helixes anymore, so that's nice. We're going to heal, Zell will go back up to full health, and Squall do another 8 hits, and this should end her, I think. I'd be surprised if she survived. So let's go ahead and do some more damage, get a showy ending, then we're going to use Rough Divide, and this should be the finisher we need, and she's done. So she'll explode, and we're done. We're done with the evil Ultimecia. The world is saved. All is good. That amazing song, "I Am Maybe I'm a Lion," is the end game song. All that goodness. So bye bye Ultimecia. It's been a good battle, but you got to go now. And with that, she'll explode a little bit more, and then we'll probably be done. More likely we'll be done. I mean, then surely we won't have to fight like a 4th form against Ultimecia. I mean, that would be insane. She just became white pixie dust. So no need to worry about anything, right? I hope so, because we're just sitting here, and Zell's just hopping back and forth. There's only so long we can watch Zell do that. And what the heck? Who the hell turn off the lights? Okay, a little bit odd, but I'm sure it's over, right? Wait, what's that? What's that? Why is there premonition music playing in the background? It's all this freaking light happening all over the place. And what the hell is that? What the hell is that? I don't know. That might be a thumbnail image right there. Uh, but uh, that is Ultimecia. This is her final form. I mean, some say this is her true form. I don't really think this is her true form, but um, it's quite an interesting form. I mean, it's very odd to me. But it fits in the vein of, you know, sorceresses in Final Fantasy VIII because there's wings on top of her head. It does kind of look like her, the way she looked in her human form. Has the red, you know, the red dress-like thing on her bottom half, mid part. The wings, all that, claws that she had, very bestial features as far as the claws are concerned. But yeah, some say this is Ultimecia's final form. I like to think like she absorbed so much of time and all that she kind of lost her human form. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what happened. So Ultimecia casted Hell's Judgment, which Hell's Judgment will lower your HP down to 1 for all 3 party members, which is very dangerous. You don't want to be in that state for very long because she can cast Meteor, she can also cast Ultima, she can blow away your magic, she can hit you with a physical attack, she can counter attack with a claw, she can cast Dispel, she can cast Flare, Holy, Meteor, and Ultima. Later on in the battle, she will be able to draw a magic called Apocalypse from her bottom half. And Apocalypse is not a magic you want to trifle around with or mess around with. When she draws it, my first reaction is to just cast Holy or use Holy War. That way you don't have to worry about it. But if that's not your thing, then don't do it. You can probably survive it if you have a high spirit, and then you're at full health. Provided you have probably more than, I would say, 8,000 HP just to play it on the safe side. Or if you just, at this point, you should be able to max out your HP at 9,999. Now, my preferred way of doing this is to let her cast Hell's Judgment, use a Holy War, and then everyone's at a high crisis level, which means you have a very good chance of getting very good outcomes on your limit break. Unless your names were known, you shoot your dog at Ultimecia. But if I don't do that, then I'll just use the Mega Elixir. I'm gonna try to do this fight as legitimate as possible. It's not a hard final boss by any means. I don't think it's a very difficult fight. Squall and Zell are gonna be doing the most damage, of course. Renault is gonna be casting Meteor. I mean, and that's really it. I mean, if you really want to end this fight very quickly, just use limit breaks. You'll do a lot of damage at once. But for sure, just be very careful about Ultimecia. She could game over you really easily if you're not paying attention, especially when she uses Hell's Judgment. But yeah, that was a super hard fight. The music, the Extreme, which is playing right now, this is probably my second favorite battle theme in Final Fantasy VIII. The first one's still Premonition, in my opinion. Actually, yeah, it is still my favorite. I just like Premonition. But the Extreme, fantastic track. I can't be too mad that it's the final boss theme. It's a really good track. No Matsu's, you know, genius shines with with music with this track. But that was her claw attack, not a super damaging attack. So Renault's just going to cast a Meteor. Just throw all your best magic at Ultimecia. This is the final fight. No jokes. This is for real. For real. This is her ultimate final form. Now her HP pool is pretty high at high levels. Her HP can go as high as 278,900 HP. So that's a pretty big amount of HP, but we don't have to worry about that level of HP. Now if you're at super high levels for everyone, then yeah, you would, but I think mine's going to be more along the lines of her mid levels, probably maybe like the 176,000 HP mark, according to Final Fantasy Wikia. I should have used Meltdown a long time ago. I keep forgetting to use Meltdown, but Meltdown would lower all of her HP, her spirit down, so we can do maximum damage. And she gets a awesome shade of purple, but Zell's physical attack just did 5,000. Meteor is going to do a crap ton of damage now. So let's see. Earlier it was doing like 1,000 per hit. Let's see what it does now. It's still doing 1,000, but it's doing a little bit more. It's like doing more along the lines of 1,500. So quite a bit. A little bit extra work. And Renault loses Blizzago, so that's not good. And now you can see that Squall and Zell doing quite a bit more damage. I almost just want to cast Ultima just to do it, but I think I was doing way more damage with Meteor than I was with Ultima. And here I think I'm just going to go ahead because right now I already probably could have. I could have maybe already beat the boss by now, but I'm going to go ahead and cast Aura on Squall. Now, Renzo Kukin for Squall will always do 7 hits on this form of Ultimecia, so that's very good. That's the second highest amount of hits you could possibly land with Squall. And of course, if you hit her with Lionheart, she's probably going to already be dead, but I'm kind of glad I did not land a lot of, well, Lionheart on her. That's a lot of damage right there. Because I'll be able to showcase Apocalypse. I don't generally get to do that because I'll just kill Ultimecia right away with Fluent Breaks. So that's a little bit nice. But Meteor, very good. Just keep on hitting her with it. If you don't have Meteor, then hit her with your next most powerful magic attack. Ultima would be a good thing. She doesn't have any weaknesses or strengths against elemental magic, so you can use those as you wish. Ultimecia, you done screwed up because now you put Squall in a very high crisis level. Angelo, recover. I mean, that's kind of rare, but you know, okay. The dog just disappears back into the ether of space. So, 7 more attacks, a lot of damage. Okay, so this right here, we already depleted her HP. Once she starts talking, she's already beaten. All you gotta do is just do a little bit more damage every turn. I believe, yeah, I did like 1,000 points of damage, or maybe like it's a very low amount of damage. I think it's like 1,000, maybe 100. It's some form of 10. I think it's 1,000 though. But yeah, all you gotta do is just keep laying in the attack. She'll talk, and then when she's done talking for like the 5th or 6th time, you've already beaten her. So not a super difficult fight. But yeah, she'll talk and say some weird stuff here. I don't quite understand it, but she's already beaten. Just keep laying in some more attacks, and we will have her beaten. I think she'll start being able to draw Apocalypse here pretty soon. But get some more attacks in, because why not? Plated Circle. Actually, I think right here, I'll see the damage on the lower half, and then I'll think, okay, now I can actually start drawing magic. I think, maybe. Yes. So I'll see that, and then I'm like, okay, I'm draw, cast, Apocalypse. Apocalypse is a very damaging spell. Super damaging. It's more powerful than Ultima. I think if you were to able to hack Apocalypse into your magic pool, it junctions really nicely as well. It's a super powerful spell. I think you're going to see it do a lot of damage. Yeah, like 7,000 damage, despite that being draw casted. That right there scares me right there, but we should already be almost done with her. Renzo Kukin, we're going to go ahead and use Mega Elixir. And this should be it. This should be the last thing right here. Oh, I was hoping to get Lionheart. Blasting Zone's not half bad either. Sword that cuts through the darkness. But yeah, this will be a fantastic final attack to finish off Ultimecia. I think this will finish her off. I'm pretty sure it will. Yep. And so Ultimecia is defeated. We have beaten Final Fantasy VIII. And this is a very trippy sequence that happens here. So, and a little fun fact about myself. When I beat this, I had such a crappy TV, I could not see what the hell was happening um, to the party after we beat Ultimecia. So, like, all this is like, when I finally got a better TV, this was like all new to me. I could not see what the hell was happening because everything was so freaking bright. Which makes the next scene even funnier. Because everything is on white screen. The Ultimecia is defeated, she's destroyed, and I like to notice that there's some white feathers flying in the background, which is very funny as well. Another thing behind the scenes, that was my initial recording right there, and as you can tell here, the text on the characters' dialogue boxes are going to be different. My game crashed right there. So yeah, after I beat Ultimecia, it crashed. I'm like, oh, what the frack, man. But so I went in and reinstalled the game, uninstalled the mods, and beat the game, you know, normal, cheesing Ultimecia with limit breaks. So this is the unmodded ending, which I don't know if they fixed those mods or not. But everyone's like, okay, let's go back home. Zell's like, shut up, just calm down, think where we have to go. And careful, guys, don't pick the wrong time. Whatever you do, don't fall into a time warp. And so everyone's thinking about themselves. Squall is nowhere to be found. Time, place, who I want to be with. I feel like that's for Noah talking. Yeah, it is for Noah. I want to go there where Squall and I promised. Now, the ending is plain. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about R equals U. Just very little. Because I'm not an expert at it. But I do enjoy the theory. Well, if you haven't put it together yet, R equals U basically means Ultimecia equals Renoa, or Renoa equals Ultimecia, depending on how you want to look at it. So it's a theory that Ultimecia is actually Renoa in the far, 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 far future. And it's a very intriguing theory. And Squall here cannot find his way back because, you know, he's a loner. Even with all this, he can't really think about where he wants to go with his friends and all this. And we're going to get... Actually, I'll talk about R equals U after this right here. I spoiled it a little bit, but we're going to see Squall got sent back into the past when he was a little kid at Adea's house. And that's Adea. And so we're going to learn here how Adea knew all these events, knew what seed was, what seed's purpose was. And she says, excuse me, have you seen a little boy? You don't have to worry. The boy won't go anywhere. So Squall already knows how all this is going to play out already, because he knows he wandered back at Adea's house. And Adea is going to feel sorry for young Squall, because she already knows about Squall's past. And Adea also finds out about Ultimecia here as well. And Squall's going to say they defeated her, and Adea is going to make mention that for Ultimecia to die and pass on, she has to pass on her sorceress powers, which is what she's going to be doing. So Ultimecia's powers in the future is going to transfer to the past, and somehow these powers are going to transfer right back to her eventually when she's born and all that. So very interesting. And she says what she says, and she knows this because she's also a sorceress. Adea will eventually do this to her, no, even though Adea doesn't die. And she also wants to take this sorceress powers onto herself because she doesn't want her kids that she's taking care of to become a sorceress. So there's her powers being transferred to Adea, and Ultimecia will die and disappear into a purple mist. And Adea's like, is this the end? No, unfortunately it's not. This is the beginning and ends. Very much like an Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. It never ends. And Adea mentions that Squall called her Matron. And Squall says he's a seed from Balam Garden. And then Adea's like, a seed? A garden? And then he says that both garden and seed were her ideas, which in a way, it kind of makes Squall the father seed and garden, because he's the one that gives Idea the idea, and Idea just runs with this idea that Squall gave her. And then Idea makes it, connects the dots and figures out that Squall is from the future, and says that, finally figures out that that boy from the future, she finally connects that that boy is Squall, and this Squall is that boy. And Squall's like, am I all alone? And Idea says that, yeah, he's nobody you need to know. Because if he knew who Squall was, all kinds of crap would get all fudged up. So, the only Squall permitted here is you. Oh, older Squall's like, alright, well, if you're going to say that, I'm going to go ahead and leave. Squall's like, I'll figure out my own pathway out. Silently says, I'll be alright, Matron. Very good ending. It's very cool to see how all this happened, how it became all full circle. And now Squall is going to get sent back to, well, the end of time is what I like to call this part. And he sounds very unsure. I'm not alone. Very unsure kind of logic. If I call out, they will answer. Very eerie music. Where is everyone? Did y'all leave me? Am I all by myself? Renoa, where are you? Zell, Selfie, Quizzes, Irving, Renoa! So, he's starting to live out his worst fear, where he's alone and he doesn't want to be alone. And he doesn't know which way to go. And he knows for damn sure he can't make it back alone. So he's kind of hitting the panic button right here. So that fear that he had when he was younger is now playing itself out again. And he's going to have to face that fear. So, very interesting. I like this part about Squall's character growth, because it shows that he has to face that same fear he had when he was a kid. He's going to have faith that someone is going to have to find him. Very interesting FMV here. I'm going to let the ending play out now for a little bit, but Squall's going to look around and he's going to find out no one's around, and he's going to have to. I keep saying I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to wait until the credits actually play out. So, it's a very psychedelic, if that's even still a word now, like ending sequence for Squall. Just walking in this this weird dimension at the end. I think this is like the end of time. I wonder if this is like what Chrono and Party saw when they got to the end of the time, where they met the old man, aka not Jasper. And I'll probably end up having to lower the volume on the song that plays during this ending, so I don't get copyright struck or anything like crazy like that. But Squall can't find anybody, and that's pretty unfortunate. Shouldn't have been such a jerk, Squall. And of course, Squall finds the end of the world. I wonder how long he walked. Probably like hours, if not days, of walking. It's like almost like time is trying to claim him, because now all that walking he did, now there's nothing right behind him. And even though there's no words spoken here, you can kind of get the idea that Squall's kind of like losing hope. He just gives up right here. And of course, on the opposite end of time, Renoa's looking for Squall. Of course, you gotta remember, Squall. Y'all made a promise, so it's time for you to fulfill that promise. I'm getting dizzy. Ah, fragment Renoa's power. It's a shame that we didn't get voice acting in Final Fantasy VIII, but that's okay. This right here, this is a very trippy part of the ending. Like I don't understand this part right here. I just like to think like uh, time or Ultimecia's lingering influence like messes with Squall's like Squall right here. Like, damn girl, you ugly. But I also think like a lot of this is just overwhelming Squall's mind too. Like, cause Squall's mind in a way is kind of like damaged because of the Guardian forces, and he's just getting overwhelmed. At least that's what I like to think. No, not the spider bot. It's such a weird ending, but it's such a weird ending. But I like it at the same time. Even after all these years, I still don't know what the hell's going on for sure. For sure. Like I just think he's just trying to think about Renoa and he can't like quite remember her or something because of the whole time compression thing, or he's just remembering their dance. I don't know. And Squall's mind just cannot take it anymore. That's what I think that represents. But Renoa will find Squall, despite all that. And that also could never see that on my TV. I had no idea that a feather was falling down. It's amazing how far we've come along in technology and displays. Yeah, I got a trophy. The trophy breaks through the ether and Renoa is able to find Squall because the sound of the trophy alerted her. But yeah, now we're going to be greeted to the vocal song of Final Fantasy VIII, Eyes on Me. Now, luckily, Squall's just knocked the hell out. He's not actually dead. Or maybe he is dead and maybe Renoa uses her sorcerer's powers to revive him. I don't know. But I like to think he's just knocked out. I don't think he's dead. And with that, they managed to go back to their own time in the location where they made that promise. At Idea's house. Which is also where the beginning of the game like started. In a way, the way it started, the intro. The opening FMV. That was such a long time ago. Hell, I don't even know what how long ago that video even came out. Like when I posted it. But it's kind of cool because hey, Pokemon, Pokeball. I mean, we see Cypher, Fujin, and Raijin fishing, and so you know we get to see what happened to them. Which I mean, like I said, Cypher, Renoa, Fujin, and Raijin just fall out from the story after that. So it's kind of a bummer. But I'm curious, when did I first post Final Fantasy VIII, the first part? I'm curious. We got time. Let's see here. Man, May 12th, 2024. That's such a long time ago. That's almost a year. But it's such an ambitious Let's Play. I'd say that too. And then this is the other big thing in the ending that I'm glad they have is Laguna and his memories of when he left Wind Hill. Or maybe he wasn't leaving Wind Hill. Maybe he was just trying to invite rain for a nice moon lit walk date. And here we find out that Laguna tied the knot and married Rain, and you know they ended up having a son named Squall that Laguna never met until Squall was a lot older, almost a man. Such a good game. I love this game so much. I'm kind of sad that it's finally ending, but all good things have to come to an end, right? And again, it's such a shame they cut Laguna's story like kind of short. I felt like I said, I felt like they could have put two more Laguna dream sequences in the game, and the game would have ran fine. I felt like the third disc was kind of rushed. Not as bad as Xenogears Disc 2. Oh God, I still love Xenogears, but it's a shame that we didn't get more Laguna dream sequences. And Kiros and Ward are like, all right, we're ditching those stupid S-Star uniforms. And one has to wonder. I wonder how that conversation with Laguna and Squall went. I mean, he's probably looking up at Squall, thinking how proud he is of Squall, but how Squall doesn't really know who his father is, and I wonder how Laguna breaks that news to him. Man, it's hard to believe that this game came out. I think 1999. It's been 25 years. I think it'll be 30 years in 2029. That's such a long time. But uh, anyways, we're getting to the credits, so now I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about R equals U. So, ongoing fan theory that I'm very much a fan of is Ultimecia is really Renoa, and Renoa is actually Ultimecia. Now, the theory is that somehow down the road, because Renoa has sorceress power, she can live a lot longer than most people, and somehow down the road, Squall dies, of course, because he's still human, and that kind of like drives Renoa to insanity or something like that, because she lost her knight, and knights are supposed to protect their sorceresses from, you know, the evils of the world and protect themselves from their own powers. Um, and yeah, it's that's part of the theory. And then you probably explain, well, why doesn't Renoa probably remember her friends and why she's attacking? Well, that kind of loopholes cover from the Guardian Forces, how the Guardian Forces kind of make them forget their powers. And well, what Guardian Forces does she have? Well, she has Griever. Griever is, you know, junctioned onto Renoa and probably makes her forget that stuff. Forgets why she's doing the things she's doing, and then just gets so absorbed in her power, she starts looking the way Ultimecia looks. So there's that. Uh, and it's just the way Renoa and Ultimecia's wings look kind of also makes me think that when Ultimecia is blowing up, it looks like there's white angel feathers like behind her. So it's just different stuff like that. Um, and then some of the lines that are dropped like uh, throughout the game just kind of make me think that. Now Chocobo World, we don't get to play Chocobo World, but that's just my theory. There's a lot more to. Hey, Zell finally got his hot dogs. Uh, there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot of loopholes in it. It's never been confirmed, but it's just one that it's for my head canon. It's my head canon for the game. And despite being Ultimecia, history is going to repeat itself. So it's kind of like a tragic story in a way, and I like that. I like tragedies in storytelling. It's very nice in terms of, you know, storytelling. What? Hey, it's Angelo. But yeah, we'll see Angel looking out at Renoa, and Renoa's gonna do her finger thing to Squall, and the camera cuts out right there because they're out of battery power. So they won't see what happens, but we'll see what happens in the post-credit scene. But all right, my final thoughts on Final Fantasy VIII. Okay, Final Fantasy VIII is still one of my top Final Fantasy games. It is my second favorite Final Fantasy game now as of this part because Final Fantasy XVI dethroned that. And well, nostalgia plays a huge part in that. I'm not going to deny that. It plays a huge part of that. It was my first RPG. Just how a lot of people's first RPGs from this era was Final Fantasy VII, and they will swear up and down that Final Fantasy VII is the epitome of Final Fantasy, which I respect that because I'm that way with Final Fantasy VIII. But Final Fantasy VIII is just, it represents one of those parts of my life in gaming where it just, I didn't realize storytelling and video games could be like this, because I didn't like books, I didn't like none of reading of that, but so I didn't really experience real storytelling until I hit Final Fantasy VIII, and that's just, after that it was to the races from there. You got introduced to RPGs, started playing more RPGs, played Xenogears. Xenogears is another one of my favorite RPGs. Chrono Trigger when it came out on the PlayStation, even though the load times were horrendous. Trying to think of other RPGs at the moment. They're escaping me. It's been, I can't remember very much. PlayStation 1 era has been such a long time ago. But I'm thankful for Final Fantasy VIII for that. I'm thankful for Square Enix and all the people who made this fantastic game that just introduced me to this form of storytelling. So that's a large part of nostalgia for me. And the story is not bad. The combat's not terrible. I love the system. I like breaking this game in half with the card games. But we'll actually see what the camera cut out. And I love the ending music right here as well. It's such a good ending theme. And we get to see Renoa and Squall have their moment after saving the world from the evil, evil Ultimecia. So right here is where the camera cut off, and so we see Squall and Renoa enjoying themselves, and they're going to have a romantic moment right here. Such a romantic moment. Anyways, that'll be the end of Final Fantasy VIII, folks. I really enjoyed this Let's Play. I'm a little bit sad, like I said, to see it end, but as they say, all good things must come to an end. And I love this last shot where it looks like the garden's flying towards the moon. And I love that little remix of the ending theme from Final Fantasy VIII mixed in there, a little bit with the harp. But yep, that's the end. Final Fantasy VIII, made in 1999 by Squaresoft, then Squaresoft. But thank you for staying with me, folks. If you enjoyed it, like I said, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one, folks. Bye.